thank you for joining me. This is Liz at home from Cape Town in sunny South Africa. It's a beautiful sunny day outside, but oh my goodness me, it's icy cold in the morning. Today I'm going to be sharing with you what I coloured in May 2022, and I'm quite pleased that I've actually managed to colour in 12 books this month. And plus some PDF pages. But before I do that, I'm going to share with you all the supplies that are actually finished and dried out and used up to their final capacity this month. A lot of them were nearing the end of their life, but these two are both from a new product that I bought, which is touch markers. I'm just noticing, sorry, that's hence the pause, that they look different. I've got two sets. I bought a 48 set and an 80 set, and I see they've got different writing on them. But anyway, these two dried out, used them up, so that was in the month. Then I've had some big markets for a good few years, and finally actually dried up all of these. I was fairly heartbroken because I love my big markets. All of those are now dried up, finished, kaput, and off to their new life in the rubbish dump. So sad. Thank you, lovely markers, for your life. So those are done. Then I also didn't use up this. I've hardly used it all, but it's dried up. So it's not one I'll be buying again. I'll put my reading glasses on so I can see what it's called. It's a Molotov, but it's completely dried up, a Molotov marker. Then a metallic ink gel pen. I don't think this was a teaser, but this just doesn't work. It's one of those, I can't even see the air bubble, but doesn't work, so it's in the bin. This one is finished, kaput. Also, you can still see ink in it. It's a jelly roll, but can't work anymore. This one I think I've actually used up and finished up. This one is finished. Used the whole thing. There's hardly anything left, but you can't get it to work. Also, this is a fluo gel inks. Then these two are dry. I hardly used them. They're Derwent Academy metallic markers. I bought them in December, and they're dry. I don't know if I didn't click the lids on properly when I used them, but I've used them once before, and now they're kaput. Another full white gel pen that simply doesn't work, Pilot G2. And this I've used up. It's a Finesse color pencil blender pen. It went funny on the tip. I don't know if you can see that. Let me move it around, but the tip's gone funny, but I used that a lot, and that's finally dried out. And then some Prismacolors, a little whoopsie blue and a flesh color that are kaput, and a blender pencil that's kaput. Finished. In Afrikaans we say finish klaar, and they are completely finished. So they're also a shame. I love my little pencils. I feel quite sad. Anyway, so that's all my supplies that I used up this month that are all going into the dustbin. And I just thought I would share them with you. Now onto the color pages. First one I tried to follow a number of hashtags and things this month. So the first one I colored in was A Million Magical Creatures for Lulumea, a Lulumea page. And I did this one. I hope you can see it. And in this I used Crayola plus other pencils, and I did it for Mayo in May coloring, hashtag Mayo in May coloring tag. Putting that there just so I can make sure I mention everything. Then in this book, Fairy Magic, an Enchanted Mosaic, this is by Color Questopia. I did this whole page with gel pens. Oh no, yes, that's also gel pen. I'm trying to use up some of my gel pens. It's interesting though, even with gel pen, the paper gets really crinkly on the other side and almost goes through in this thin Amazon paper. But I enjoyed doing that, and this was a nice book to do in gel pen. I went over the edges with the gel pen as well, but it's nice to use gel pen because it's not the black line, so it's easier to stay in the lines than with an alcohol marker. Next, I've shown you, I did that my watercolor and doodles. See, there's another page there. Then in Color by Colors, I try to do at least one of these every month. I really enjoy these simple color by numbers in this. For this one, I really enjoyed this page. I used Crayola Super Tips, Arteza gel pens, Caran d'Ache Fibralo pens, which are a water-based marker, and Crayola pencils. It was just that one. I think this was done the previous month. Can't remember now. I'll be sad when that book's finished, actually, because I really enjoy it. I did this page. It's Christine Karen. This was, I've got the digital book and I printed it on watercolor paper. I printed it on Fabriano mixed media paper. It's from Fairy and Fantasy 3. I did this as a buddy color with Heike Just. She's on Instagram. I used Prismacolor, Staedtler fine liners. I used Paste Ease, putting in the glitz on that ice cream. I don't know if you can see the sparkle. And I used Pentel Dual Metallic on the necklace and the earrings. And I used Faber-Castell Gelatos for the background with a brush. I applied it dry. But I was actually quite pleased with how that turned out. And I used a little fine liner to make little flowers on. I think there were little flowers and I went over them. But I was quite pleased with that one. Then in Linda Ravenscroft's Fairy and Fantasy Art, I've got another. I've had these books for such a long time and not colored in them before. I used a lot of things. I used ink tents. Then I went over the ink tents with Derwent Coloursoft pencils. I used Sparkle Pops, Jelly Roll glitter, and Pentel glitter pens with some glycerine. I used Folk Art Extreme glitter on that's Folk Art Extreme glitter paint on the wings, and you can see where it's shining really nicely. And then I used the Jelly Roll, that's not a Jelly Roll, the glaze pen around there, which I don't think was wildly successful. And I used fine liners. And then I did this for various hashtags. It was for Disney Makes Coloring, which is Makes Color Challenge 2022 for the letter F. Fairy. And the name of this fairy is Floribundance. So that was for that hashtag. Then I used it for Magical and Mythical May 2022, which was for Effie Colors. That's her hashtag. And I used it for Lavella's Coloring May Color Your Hoard, because I'd not colored in this book before. It's the only colored page. So that ticked ticked a lot of boxes for me. I can't say I'm thrilled with how it turned out, but I'm thrilled that I did it. Then I did this one, which I think is quite cute. It's from Jade Summers, Chibi Girls Grayscale 4-in-1, which I bought the PDF book for. And I did this as a buddy color with Laura from Live Long and Color. So I will mention all the various channels and the hashtags underneath the video in the more info. I used Sharpies plus Graphite alcohol markers. I used Pentel Dual Metallics. You can see the shine. Oh, I do love me a little bit of shine. And I used a white Posca and Jelly Roll Glaze pen on the eyes. Don't know if you can see the shining on the eyes. And this is for Jamie's Colouring Love. Jamie May Breakdown Points, the M for Mermaid. It's also for Cute Chibi Summer 2022 from at my colouring page 2018. And I think that's it. Mentioning Jamie's Colouring Love, she's going through a bit of a hard time. So if you feel like popping into her channel and showing it a little bit of love, just by watching some of the content perhaps that you haven't seen or that which you have seen and would like to re-watch, it would help her a lot. She's having a lot of family problems at the moment, health issues, and I just think it would be wonderful to give her that support. Then in Chibi Girls, another is by Coco Wire, another book that I really thoroughly enjoy. Oh, sometimes the washi tape really messes up the pages. This is also for Jamie's Breakdown Prompts. It's May Breakdown Prompts, and this is why you color a character for you to look like you. And I'm not cute like that, but I'm Caucasian skinned, blue-eyed, grey-haired. I love pink. I love tea. So I thought, okay, that's an awesome picture for me. It's also for Cute Chibi Summer 2022, which is by at my colouring page 2018. So that was for that. I'm just going to keep that to know that I've got the link. Then in this one, Flowers and Gardens, Colour Questopia black background, I did 2 images. I just used touch markers in this one. Oopsie. The touch markers that I bought, I quite like. They have a bullet nib, which in a strange way I prefer to the brush nib in these books. But they do dry out quite quickly. And then I did this picture also with brush markers. I think there's a hashtag somewhere about colour my garden or flowers or something, but I didn't mark that one down. So that's those. I did nothing extra on them. It was relaxing colouring. Then in my 50 Autumn Miniatures book, I did this picture, which I think turned out quite nicely. I really enjoyed colouring it. I used Sharpies as underpainting, and then Prismacolor for a little bit of detailing and shape. Then I used Glitz and Glamour Aztec Gold, which is a bit like stickles. I can't find stickles in South Africa. I would love some stickles. I really would. Oh, come on, light. Grab the shine. This is shining so nicely. Doesn't want to. Oh no, the guy started his lawnmower. I hope you can hear me. I'm just going to close the window and see if it will stop the noise. There we are, the lawnmower has finished. Let me see if I can get the sparkles here. Not being successful. Sparkles, there we are. Hope you're seeing them. So, and then I used Little Birdie Sparkle Paste for this. It is something somebody gave me a while ago. out of their stash that they didn't want. I think it was a mistake to use it there, but I was in a sparkly mood. And I used gel crayons as a background, dry, and this was for Fruit and Veggies in May 2022 by Maryful Colors, and for Minis in May for At Colouring with Haley. So that was for a lot of prompts as well. Then, out of my Do What You Love colouring book, where did I? Just because I actually am trying to colour this whole book, I need to try not to destroy the book by taking the washi tape off. I decided to try a little bit of a bouquet background there, just in a little bit there, and I don't think it was wildly successful, so I stopped and did the rest differently. I used plain old Crayola colour pencils and then Prismacolor pencils, and I blended it all with Zest It. You can probably see a bit of the background that there's a slight bokeh look because I did the whole thing like this and I hated it, and so I went over it with Prismacolor and blended it out. I'm still trying to get the whole bokeh thing right, but I love that image. I think it came out nicely, and it's from Do What You Love, Do It Often by Prettily Printed ZA. I think that's, yeah, Prettily Printed ZA. Then this is from Village Charm by Teresa Goodrich. I printed this on other cardstock because this was actually, when you subscribe to Dover Colouring Books, they send you 5 freebies every month, and this was one of my freebies, so I printed it from there. I always save them. I don't know if you've seen my video that I did reviewing my pencil stash and my very inexpensive budget-friendly colour pencils. Well, I used a huge collection of those in this image, and I used Zest It to shade with and to blend them together. And I mean, I think this came out quite nicely. It just shows you don't have to have the expensive pencils. Then from another book that you probably don't know, it's called Mandala Mojo by Sam Dala. This is a South African artist. I was just in the mood for colouring something simple, and this book's printed on nice paper, and I used Giotto Turbo Giant markers as an underpainting and Lyra Super Furby colours on top, and this was for at M. Bean's Colour With Me at May Mandala 2022. So she's a fairly new colouring channel, and I like to support her, so I'll put her link as well here. But I was actually quite pleased with the colour combo. Then I did quite a lot in my stone mosaic book. I'm really enjoying this book. This is my insomnia book. When I can't sleep at night, I haul it out and some alcohol markers, and I just sit and colour and listen to an audio book. Just used Sharpies on that. On this one, I used touch markers plus some jelly roll and some sparkling I can't speak, sparkling gel pens as well. And then I did 2 more. Oopsie. This number 4 was orange, but I think they could have chosen a different color. And oh no, that was last month. I think that was also last month. Okay, so it's just the 3 I did out of here. I also did the lighthouse. There we are. Also, I think I've shown you. Sorry, I'm getting myself totally confused here. So I need to do more in here. I really love this book. I don't want it to finish. Then I was paging through my stash and looking to see what I had, and I discovered that I have one of these Hachette Hero books. I don't know if it's still in stock or not. I've probably had this for 3 or 4 years. It's Disney Girl Power, and the book is falling apart a little bit, so this one came out. I had such fun with this page. She is Mulan, but I painted with glycerine in my gel pens and water, and I think I used too much glycerine because the page has gone so weird. I ended up ironing it, but it's like it hasn't gone dry and crinkly. It's like, I don't even know how to explain. It almost feels like fabric. Anyway, I used, this was for the hashtag of metallic, I don't know, something about metallic in May or something. I wrote that down somewhere else. But I used, it had to be, everything had to be metallic. So I used Montmartre metallic acrylic paints on her dress and on her sash and on the sword. I used Guanghui pencils in some areas, the metallic pencils in the background there. I used various metallic gel pens, like for the detailing and for this area. I used a Jelly Roll metallic pen. So of the various ones was a Pilot G2, a Jelly Roll, a Scriptor on Arteza, and then I used the Derwent metallic markers as well. And I used the Giotto Decor Metal Bronze over there. So that was a fun page to do, and I used pencils for her face. But there we go, that was all of that one from Disney Girl Power. The book is apart. This is actually the front. There we are. So, and then my last page for this month is from Sago Licht by Emily Lederhol-Orberg, and I did this page, which I put on Instagram. It hasn't had very many likes. I think the photograph color came quite washed out. I was quite happy with it, actually, for me, for my coloring. I used Sennelier oil pastels as a base and on some of these. And I used the Sennelier, there's a pearl one. I don't know if you can see that some of them have a bit of a shine to them, that I went over some of them with that. Then I used Prismacolor pencils for detailing on top. And I used Maped Color Pep Smoothies, which are a gel crayon, as the background. And this was for Annie coloring. At Emily's Art Animals 2022 is the hashtag. So I'll put that underneath as well. And that completes all of my images for May 2022. I hope you've enjoyed watching with me and sharing what I've done. And thank you very much for being here. I hope you have a colorful and a happy day. Bye-bye now.